pangarap ko'y kay hirap abutin.
Halika! Halika! Come and see! On Queen Anne Hill where the wind tastes the same as Binalonan. For over a quarter of a century, people forgot about me and thought I never existed. But sometimes they give you back your name. My name is Carlos Bulosan, but you can call me Allos. Here is my grave, where I was laid to rest on September 11, 1956. And I haven't been able to sleep since then. And let me tell you why. You see, when I first arrived here, the wind slapped my face telling me to go back home. And so did many Americans that I encountered. Hindi pwede. Once you turn your back on your country, it won't be the same. Diba? You may return, but you're no longer from there. Do you know anybody who was born in a different country? Ask them. They'll tell you. Yeah. What's your name, kaibigan? That means friend. Kumusta, boy? You remind me of myself when I first left home. Halika. I must tell you a little cuento. A story about a boy who ran away from home. Our land was getting smaller and smaller to a point where the family could no longer fit or afford to stay in the farm. Inay, my brothers, and sister moved to the closest village, Binalonan. I stayed with my tatay, my father, to help with the farm when I was 7 years old. I went to the village school, but would help him in the fields early in the morning and when I returned in the afternoon. He never said much, but was always working.
I'll take you to town tomorrow, anak. You'll live with your mother, brother, and sisters.
Ano po? But I don't want to go to town. I don't want to live with them.
I've done all that I could do. The land that we've been working is no longer ours. We lost it to the moneylender. Wala na akong magagawa.
Tatay became a hired help for other farmers. Nanay just had another girl. I had to find a way to help support our family, so I moved into town with her.
Allos! Allos! Anak, gising na. Wake up. We have a long journey today. Pusorobio is far, and we must arrive before the other market sellers, otherwise it will be too late when the competition arrives. We have several baskets of mungo. Go ahead and grab one of them. And I will put 3 on my head. Sige na, wag kang masyado antukin.
Pero Nay, even the roosters are still sleeping eh.
They can sleep all they want kasi the earlier we work, the better the profit. Go, get the mungo. Ingat anak, be careful. It's very muddy.
Yan.
Rain is good luck. Okay, pahinga muna tayo. Let's sit and rest here.
May dumadating na.
Di tumayo ka. Stand up and sell, anak.
Munggo! Munggo! Bili na po kayo. Mura-mura lang po to. Nay, parang ayaw nila.
Go to someone else. Huwag kang bumigay.
Don't give up. Munggo! Munggo, bili na po kayo. Ay, salamat po. Ay, look at their dresses. They're so pretty. And are those leather shoes? He's wearing a barong. That karomata is beautiful. And that horse is so healthy.
No staring, anak. It's not good to stare.
Naku, look at that woman and her two servants. Napakaganda. She's so pretty, like a princessa. Nanay staring too.
Oi! What are you looking at? What? Hey!
No, wag!
Wait,
okay.
pa?
It's all right. It's all right.
Dirty peasant.
It's all right. It's all right.
Leche.
It's all right. It's all right. Don't stare, anak.
From that day on, I would never crawl on my knees and say, "It's all right. It's all right." Besides, bringing food to the table, whether it be
Adobo or paksiw with bagoong.
I also had to work to help pay for my brother's, Macario's high school education in Lingayen. We lost a hectare of land every time we paid for his tuition until there was no more land to sell. He was the only one chosen to go. Imagine not receiving education because the family could only afford to send one person to school. Macario, the scholar who always read to me before bedtime.
He delivered his people to safety in another land. It happened a long time ago. You see, Moses was a wise Jewish man whose moral code was obeyed by people for centuries.
Is there someone like him here in the Philippines?
Yes, Allos. His name was Jose Rizal. He wrote Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo, which discussed the Filipinos' plight during the Spanish rule.
He was a writer.
And he fought for people's rights. In fact, before his assassination on the eve of December 30th, 1896, he said these final words.
Adiós, patria de ara. Región de Socaíra. Bella de mar de oriente. Nuestro pedida eren. A dónde voy? Alegre la triste mustia vida. I have perceived a little light and I believe it is my duty to show it to my countrymen.
I want to be just like Rizal. Soon, Macario left again for Mindanao and eventually came here to the US. Now, I also had a brother who would end up here, but lead a completely different lifestyle. Ha!
Puisit, this caribou won't move away from the tree.
Amado, have patience, Manong.
Ano ka ba? It's raining.
Kite. We called him that because it means someone who is always itchy and couldn't stay put. Amado was the city boy.
Ayoko dito. I don't like living, breathing, and eating in a farm.
Manong kite. Halika na! Stop running! Come back! Nanay, Amado has left for America and Macario's been gone for a while now.
Alam ko.
I will send money every month. It's my turn to go.
Sigurado ka pa?
I'm old enough. I'm 12, remember? It's only a couple hours away.
Don't stare, anak.
Opo. Have you ever seen your mother cry? I just turned my head and walked away. Baguio, a mountain city like here in Seattle, especially when the fog comes to visit in the morning.
Hey, you. Yeah, you, native boy. Come over here. Yeah. Can I take a picture of you? Right over here by the trees. Okay, yeah, sit down. That's it. All right. Ready? 1, 2. Wait a minute. Put some dirt on your face. Yeah, that's more authentic. Say cheese. Here you go.
This is not going to be enough money. Kumusta? Trabaho po? Ingles? Kumusta? Trabaho po? Ingles? Kumusta? Trabaho po? Ingles?
Oi! No one has ever made money just talking to themselves and sitting around. Halika, oi! Let me introduce myself. My name is Damasio, an Inglewood boy who can teach you the ropes, ah. Now help me push this wheelbarrow and we will fill it with sacks of rice and kangkong. In order to survive in this city, you will need to learn how to speak English. There are 3 very important words you must learn first. Hello, sir. Here are your vegetables. Hello is kumusta. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you is salamat. Goodbye, boss. Goodbye is paalam. Now, let me take you to my boss's house. She's American, and I'm pretty sure her neighbor's looking for hired help. Now, Miss Trandon is a librarian, so you really have to practice your English, huh?
Hello, thank you, goodbye, hello.
What did you do to your face, dear?
Well, ma'am, when I'm not bringing vegetables to the people, the touristas take pictures of me and pay me 5 cents when I put dirt on my face.
Please wash it. There's nothing more disgusting than a filthy person. You don't want to look like a dirty peasant. Go along now and return the wheelbarrow, but come back here if you'd like to work for me.
She had an intelligence like no other. Porcelain skin and was a painter at heart. Miss Strandon taught me to be adept at general housework, but I knew that I must learn English if I wanted to get to know her. So I continued to learn from Dalmacio, who had an affinity for presidents. Mom, what happened to Abraham Lincoln?
Where did you hear about him?
Dalmacio, Mom.
Lincoln was a poor boy who became president of the United States. He said that all men are created equal and that slavery should be abolished. Hold on. History. Philippines is now part of the United States, so you should learn about it. It's your country too, dear. The U.S. is us now. Since you like to read, I think it would be great if we got you a job at the library. It's so quiet there. You can hear all the stories come to life.
Thanks, Mom. Lincoln was a poor boy who became president of the U.S. and the Philippines is now part of the United States of America. The U.S. is us now. Then, does that mean I'm American? It was clear where I needed to go. America! It was a June day in Seattle. Everything seemed native and promising to me. Tall buildings and valleys next to each other. It was as if I was.
Shh! Hoy! Kid! Ano ka ba? You'll get run over by a car standing in the street like that. Come with us to Chinatown. Yeah, there's a hotel on King Street filled with Pinoys. Halika na. Come on, there's one more space for you in the car.
When the seven of us got to the room, two guys were playing pusoy, poker, and the rest joined in except me. Then two visitors left and disappeared. It was an hour later when my companions realized that all their money was stolen. 20 cents lang ang pera ko. That's the landlord. Naku, what are we going to do? Wala na siya. He's gone.
All right, Pinoys, you're working for me now. I just paid your rent, $25. Get your hats and follow me. Leave your suitcases here. I'll take care of them until you get back from Alaska. Don't worry, Naman. I'm just like you. Good fishing, boys. Boss, I brought you 75 strapping young lads, all under 25 years old, strong as a carabao. $7.50 each, which makes a total $5.62.50. I say I'll give you a discount, make it $5.62 even.
We all worked under this man for a month and a half, and after that was over, he disappeared in the middle of the night. Boss, you want me to sign this? $40 for bedding and luxuries? What luxuries? All we do is work 14 hours a day in the fish canneries. There's 15 of us in a room, and the bunk houses we sleep in at night is unfit even for the fish we catch. What luxuries? Manongs are getting sick because of the ammonia and the machines, and the lighting is dangerous for our eyes. Something has to change. When I landed in Seattle a second time, all right, boss. Deduct the money from the room and board. $13? What am I supposed to do with this? Even $13 will not get you par in the 30s. What happens when you run out of money? You don't eat. And I found out immediately that a hungry minority is not a good place to be. But it was still better than the Philippines. And if you look hard enough, there's always work to be found in America. He's right. It's clear we have our differences, but we Filipinos must stick together because many have become suspicious of us. We have heard them say, "Get rid of all Filipinos or we'll burn this town down." Remember the two Pinoys found dead last week by Sunnyside?
We Mexicanos are on the same boat as you because people are afraid that we are out to take away their jobs.
Only if we are united, we can put our ideas together.
We should create our own union.
Our very own labor union. In 1933, we formed the Cannery Workers and Farm Laborers Union, which later became Local 37 of the American Federation of Labor. This is also where I found many of my lifelong friends and allies, like Jose. Jose, your boss trusts you because you're a hard worker. Convince him to hire the whole group. Tell him that you can provide him with reliable men to work in the farms. There are so many Pinoy migrant workers scattered all over the country. You know them, leaders like Millar and Ganso. We traveled by boxcars and hitchhiked like looking for one seasonal job to the next. From farms of small towns called Moxie City, prairie towns like Grandview, Sunnyside, Santa Maria, San Luis Obispo, and to bigger areas like Santa Barbara, Stockton. They are afraid, my brother. They are afraid of our mighty fists, my brother.
They are afraid of almighty fish, my brother.
They are afraid of the magnificence of our works, my brother.
They are afraid of the magnificence of our works, my brother.
They are afraid of the magnificence of our works, my brother.
They are even afraid of our songs of love, my brother.
We don't allow brown monkeys here in Climax Falls. Well, best you go with us. Where did you come from?
I just want to work, sir.
Don't patronize me, okay? Oh, you're Filipino, aren't you? Didn't you see the signs?
No Filipinos or dogs allowed.
That's right. No Filipinos or dogs allowed. We're taking you in.
Trespassing. They smelled like whiskey when they dragged me out the cell. They got in their car as I walked in front. Whenever I slowed down, they'd hit me with the bumper.
Don't stare, anak.
After 2 days, 3 nights, I caught a freight train to San Francisco. I'd like to build a home here someday. Not Klamath Falls. How can you build a place so beautiful with so much hate in it? It was like this for a long time, hopping from one place to another, looking for work. Yes, boss, I'll wash your dishes for $7 a week. I ran away from that job after 3 weeks. You've never seen me here in Santa Barbara, sir. I just arrived. Of course I can work in your bakery, no problem. 3 months, then I was gone. Now in bigger towns, no matter how bad the work was, we'd get dressed up. Oh, sige, I'll meet you there. Sometimes we'd get dressed up even if we don't have a job. A Filipino who has a job in a restaurant, a hotel, or a rich person's home would carry his work clothes in a small bag and afterwards go to a gambling house or a dance hall. 25 cents to dance with a blondie. But after a while, it became too loud. I remembered Miss Strandon and found the library. Silence. It smells of knowledge. I was at the library in Lompok when I overheard Pinoys talking about going to Landstrom Cafe. Curiosity led me there later that night. There's a Filipino smoking a cigar and spitting like a big man into a box on the floor. He's going to the back where people are gambling and cursing. I'm going to follow him to the back room. Please don't shoot! Manong?
Sorry?
Manong, kapatid mo ako.
I don't know who you are.
Taga Mangusmana tayo. Nakalimutan mo na ba ang simoy ng angin sa bayan? Naalala mo ba nung hinampas mo yung kalabaw sa ulan dahil ayaw gumalaw?
You've got the wrong person.
O nung nahulog ako sa puno ng buko at dinalhan mo ko ng mga dyaryo para may mabasa sa bahay? Nakalimutan mo na ba nung hinawakan mo ang aking mukha? Tapos tumakbo ka pupunta sa Binalonan para magtrabaho? Manong kiti. Si Allos ako.
If you really are my brother, tell me your mother's name.
Meteria, pero ang tunay niyang pangalan ay Atulia Sampayan. Nagbebenta kami ng bagoong at asin sa mga bayan noon.
It's been so long since I heard the sound of home. I look at you. Why have you grown? I had almost forgotten you. Please forgive me, my brother. Life is tough, Carl. I had a good job, but the depression came. You shouldn't have come to America. Now you can never go back. We're in a bootleg racket. Join us if you like, but it can be very dangerous.
Prohibition. Amado put money in my pocket when he realized I was not planning to stay and work with him. I left for Los Angeles. He called me Carl. I was on Vermont Avenue at a pool room when two policemen shot a Filipino in the back. As I was leaving the restaurant,
Carl, is that you?
Manong,
Let's get out of here. A scene of a crime is not a good place to be. Halika na. I have a hotel room on Broadway Street. Stay with me. We'll find work together. There are many rich people here on Wilshire. We'll walk on opposite sides of the street and go to different houses. Knock. Knock on the door. Ask if they need their rugs clean. Now grab the rugs one by one. Okay, roll up your sleeves and your pants. Beat them as much as you can with the broom that they give you.
after cleaning rugs, we went back to the house to get paid.
50 cents for 8 hours of work?
What more do you want, brown monkey?
My educated brother is just another brown monkey in America.
We have to come from a different angle. An angle where they don't have to see our brown skin. Yet they still hear us. The pen is mightier than the fist. We will fight through our words and publish our very own magazine called The New Tide.
Right? It's as if I've never heard of that word before. His words ignited a fire inside of me. The pen became my weapon and the paper my shield. I saw myself talking to millions without ever opening my mouth. Milar became one of our newspaper reporters, and with the help of Jose and Ganso, we were able to interview workers everywhere.
Writing is only the first part, but now we have to distribute these 100 copies and share them with everyone.
Mga kababayan, workers of the field, our stories are in these papers. Read them and talk about our struggle. And make sure to read it out loud to those who do not have the luxuries to do so. They too are part of our movement. The publication of the New Tide strengthened the Filipino Workers Association and the UCAPAWA, or United Cannery, Agricultural, Packing, and Allied Workers of America. But word got around and retaliation is inevitable. Jose and other labor leaders met up in Milar's house in San Francisco to set out a plan. Look, special committees have been formed in the state legislature and in Congress to have migratory workers regimented. They also are trying to dismantle our unionism and telling lies. Our kababayans in urban and rural areas must stick together. Then we will proceed to join forces with our Mexican brothers and plan out an all-out statewide strike.
like a slave in a...
It was a long road ahead for all of us. Jose and I were in Santa Maria when we heard that Millar was having trouble in San Jose. We took the first bus to head over there, but we didn't find him. Our plight was no longer a Filipino issue, but a labor issue.
Hermanos, I come here today to tell you what is going on. It is not only happening in lettuce and asparagus fields, but also everywhere. If we do not unite, you will be at the mercy of your employers. There's no other choice but to strike.
Through Jose's Spanish translation, they listened and heard. By the end, only 50 remained to work in the fields, and the rest joined us. That night, Jose and I were at the back room of a restaurant preparing leaflets when 5 men came into the room. It was too late. Millar, you're bleeding!
This is the right spot. Yeah, these trees will hide us. You have the rope, Lestu? Go on ahead and hit him as much as you want. Hey, stand up, you brown monkey! Now, don't let him wipe off that blood off his face. That's right, crawl, boy. No one's gonna see you here. Go on and tie him to that tree. Yeah, get the tar in the car and the feathers real quick. Now, don't mess with the Mexicans. They're ours. I will make you into a brown monkey that flies.
Then they turned to me and did the same. Ah! When they were done with us, they went back to the car and got drunk with whiskey. We escaped, but we had to go our separate ways. I recall avoiding a police car passing. I know deep down in my heart that I am an exile in America.
I feel like a criminal running away from a crime I didn't commit.
This crime is that I am a Filipino in America.
Don't stare, anak.
I found myself in San Jose, where someone helped me recover before I went back to Los Angeles. There were many white people who showed me compassion towards me. One of them was Dora, whose hair was the color of the sun that smelled of mint leaves. She taught me how to laugh again.
You would be really useful to the Young Communist League.
What makes you think that? I don't know much about it.
You're being silly. We talked about it before. What's that?
I'm writing a poem. It's not... Dora!
It was not homeward to the first known land or escape to white sea sprays blossoming on inland shore, but a vast heritage of war and destruction breaking too soon for the living and willing to die. It's beautiful.
Really? You like it? I haven't thought of a title yet.
You're talking about landscapes, but using body as a metaphor. Landscape with figures.
Landscape with figures.
Write more poems.
I found my voice in poetry, and Dora was the music.
Mr. Bulosan, you have an advanced stage of tuberculosis. Due to the state of your condition, you have to stay here at the Los Angeles County Hospital. There is a possibility of losing the function of one of your lungs, and depending on the circumstance, we might have to take out some of your ribs. The cast on your leg will have to remain.
My body was confined to the hospital, but it could not imprison my words. I seemed to be babbling with the multitudinous ideas. Even if my body was weak and tired, I locked myself in the room, unplugged the phone, pulled down the shades, and shut the whole damn world. I knew enough of it to carry me for a lifetime of writing. June 11, 1937, dear Dora, the doctors are saying that the third operation was a success. After you left, I ate some of the cookies. I ate some of the candies and drank some of the milk you brought. They're good snacks for reading. Books are my only friends here at the hospital. This morning, I was reading Gorky's early works. I think the greatest art will appear in a happy world of free men.
September 14th, 1937. How good it is to be strong enough to hold this notebook on my chest and write. Somebody donated blood for me today. Same type, but they wouldn't say who they were. Death surrounds me here. Visit me. It's nice to smell someone alive.
Dora? What is it?
I'm going to the Soviet Union where I was born.
Why would you go back when you've been here for so long?
It's important to have a child born in a land without racism, and I can speak freely as a woman.
You're pregnant.
I leave next week. Keep writing.
Paalam. When she left, I buried myself with a pen and wrote, and instead of sending it to her, I submitted it to a publication, just as she had suggested. Then several of my poems appeared in Poetry, a magazine of verses. It was bittersweet, really, that it took someone that I love to leave for my words to live on.
Welcome back, Allos. 2 years in the hospital is a long time. You want some adobo? Maybe some paksiw with bagoong? There's a small turo-turo on First Street. Oh, also, a friend told me that he saw for rent signs on Vermont Avenue District. Sometimes they raise the prices when they see us, pero we'll find a way. Halika na. Let's catch a streetcar.
Oh? It's Amado. I was in there at the time of your last operation. I gave a pint of blood and left. They didn't need to know who I was. Yes, I will go back to LA and live with you in Macario, just like how I was in Mangusmana.
For a brief moment, it was just like home. But soon...
Who are these people that you're bringing to my home?
Oh, you're home, huh?
Ano?
I don't trust them.
Napakayabang mo.
He's right, Amado.
Taking his side, huh?
Sober up and get a real job. You do nothing but...
Brothers!
Oh! Oh!
Tama na! Tama na! Amado, put that knife away! Macario, go and wash the blood up your face. Amado, you were going to kill him. I had to do it. Manong kite-kite, halika na! Stop running, come back! It took a long time before we spoke again. When the copies of my first book of poems, Letters from America, arrived, I went to look for him to tell him the good news. He was at a Temple Street bar with 2 girls. A few days later, he came to my room with a bag on his back.
I've joined the Navy. Many Pinoys enlisted too. Come with me to the station. You don't have to wait.
I do, Manong.
Para sa'yo, kapatid. Remember when I hit that carabao in the rain because he wouldn't move? Your manong is as stubborn.
He gave me an envelope with $25 and a note.
I'm not as well read as you are, but I know that a little volume of poetry can give you something to the world. I could have striven to raise myself as you have done, but life led me elsewhere. However, I'm glad that I remained what I am, because it will give you the chance to see your own brother in darkness.
If I'll not come back, let me live again in your words.
If you want to know who we are, real soldiers, Navy men, citizens guarding the imperishable will of man to live in grandeur.
Kite. When Amaro left, Macario walked around the streets restlessly. Even if they didn't get along, they were still brothers. When his feet got tired, he knocked at my door.
Allos, I've enlisted in the army. Keep all my books intact because I'd like to read them when I get back. No need to get sad. I'm just going away to do my job, just like when I used to leave for school. Paalam.
Paalam, Manong. My brother's gone, my health diminishing, a world war in our hands. Well, that's not a good way to end the story now, is it? Is it? I don't think so, because there were still 13 years of my life left. Right, that's what I did. Where President Franklin Delano Roosevelt commissioned me to write Freedom from Want. I recalled and wrote about the laughter of my father, the cry and the dedication, and of course my story to share. And for all of you here to hear, America is in the heart. America is in the hearts of men that died for freedom. America is not a land of one race or one class of men.
We are all American and have toiled and suffered and known oppression and defeat, from the first Native American that offered peace in Manhattan to the last Filipino pea picker.
America is also the nameless foreigner, the homeless refugee, the hungry boy begging for a job, and the black body dangling from a tree.
America is the illiterate immigrant who is ashamed that the world of books and intellectual opportunities is closed to them.
We are that nameless foreigner.
That homeless refugee, that hungry boy,
That illiterate immigrant,
And that lynched black body,
All of us.
native born,
or immigrant,
educated or illiterate.
We are America.
we are America.
we are America.
We are America.
My name is Carlos Bulosan, but you can call me Allos.
Sa kabukid